everyone, it's Debbie Bishop here at Medicine Bow Lodge and Adventure Guest Ranch. Today I'm going to be preparing a favorite of my husband's. He requested this. It's the spaghetti squash with a ragu. It's a favorite and it's easy to make, but it's one that you can enjoy. You can do it by yourself, or you can do it with a few people or a big group. It's limited with also different ingredients, but today I'm going to do a ragu, and I'm doing this because of our great guy in Italy, Simone, who, like I told you last week, we've been very blessed with who we've had here through the 18 years of owning the ranch. And Simone came here one year, and then he ended up coming for 4 years in a row. While he was in school, because of how school is there, he was able to come in the fall and help us out. And so with that, I got to learn some great cooking, Italian style, a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what he does or his family does. But this, again, is one of our favorites. And we've done some things to prepare to get us started. This, I want to tell you, is a spaghetti squash, if you do not know. It is totally different than an acorn squash. And you want to know this when you go into a grocery store. Funny story, my sister I sent in to get another spaghetti squash yesterday. And she's walking through and she picked up and went to the cash register, and the cashier said, "Oh, what are you going to make with the squash?" And she said, "Oh, well, my sister has a cooking segment." And she said, "Yeah, I watched it last week." And she said, "What's she making?" And she said, "Well, she's doing a spaghetti squash with a ragu." And she said, "Huh, well, you might want to take that back and let me show you what a spaghetti squash is, because you have an acorn squash." So with that, Susan learned what a spaghetti squash is. What you want to do is cut it in half, just like this. And then what you're going to do is put it on a cookie sheet, and you're going to drizzle it with olive oil and with salt and pepper, and put it in the oven. It takes about 2 hours for it to cook down. And then what you want to do, you want to let it cool for a little bit. And then what you're going to do is remove the inner seeds. And we've got one right here that we cooked, so that I can just show you all of this, so that you can see that on top, see how all the seeds are in this brown? This is the part you're going to pull out. And when you pull it out, then you're going to have just the meat of the spaghetti. This is a great meal to have for gluten-free people, because obviously it's a vegetable and it's not pasta. And you don't have to worry about trying to cook gluten-free pasta, which sometimes can be a pain. This is what you're pulling out right here. And this is the meat of the spaghetti, what we're going to use in just a little bit. So, now what I'm doing is I browned some Italian sausage, and I have sauteed and just let these vegetables sweat out of onion, of red bell pepper, celery, and garlic, in just a little bit of olive oil. And you know how I am, I did some layering of flavors and put a little bit of salt and pepper in. So the next step, now that these are sweated down, is I'm going to start adding my tomatoes. Now, Simone, if you're watching this, or your family, please know that when I can get some good tomatoes, I will mill the tomatoes, because Simone taught me that what their family does with the fresh tomatoes that they get is they mill them. They do not want the seed in the sauce. He calls it a virgin sauce. And so I brought this out to show you, this is what I'll use. It's a meal. And what I will do is blanch the tomatoes, boil the tomatoes for 5 to 10 minutes in some salt water. Let that skin fall off. Then I will put those tomatoes through this, and to get my sauce, and it's creamier. I was amazed at the difference in the taste in it. But Simone, for today, we're not doing it. Please don't be disappointed. Anyway, I'm gonna add some tomatoes. For what I'm cooking today, making out of this, I will use I'll use about 2 cups of tomatoes, then tomato sauce. Put all this in. Want to give it a good stir. And my vegetables that I chopped, you can chop them finer if you want to, if you're, cooking with children and everything. Sometimes they don't like the bigger chunks, but it just makes a nice ragu. I'm adding a little bit more salt to this. I'm going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning, not a lot, because my sausage will have that in it. A little bit of red pepper flakes. This gives it a little bit of heat. You can add as much or as little as you want to, but it just gives it a nice flavor. You have to have a little bit of sweetness, and one of the things that I've learned is because in Italy, their tomatoes are super, super sweet. They just have such a different flavor than what we have here. So I add a little bit of brown sugar just to lift that up. That's give a little bit of a sweet taste, not a lot. Again, just give it a good stir. We want a thick, hearty sauce here, okay? And so then I am going to add my wine. And what this, it'll cook down, it'll reduce, but it just adds a richness and a body to the ragu that we want. About a half a cup is all you need. You don't have to add it, but I'm telling you, it adds a lovely, lovely flavor. Just give it a good stir. And this is something that you ladies can do